Hi there again. So today I'm going to show you how to butterfly a chicken, and then I'll prep the chicken as well for the barbecue, and then I'll show you how to cook it in the barbecue too. So I've just got a small chicken here, and I'm just going to first of all turn it over onto its front. So the spine is here. And then what we're wanting to do is to get a sharp pair of scissors, and we're wanting to cut either side of the spine. So that's what I'm going to do here with these pair of scissors. Just taking this out entirely. You can freeze that or use it for stock, just boil it in some water and herbs and spices and use it for chicken stock. Up to you. Okay, and then we've got the chicken here, so we just want to cut down the middle here a little bit, cut the cartilage there, and just that snaps open a little bit. And then you can also just cut down the side of the cartilage here and here. So we're trying to also get this, there's a bone in here that we're trying to take out as well. So we're just going to cut down either side of this bone. And then we can try to get that bone out. Right, and then you just turn that over. You can tuck in the wings if you want, makes it look a little bit neater. Right, and that's it, more or less ready to be marinated, or to add a rub or a sauce or something onto as well. So now I'm going to show you how to make a nice wet marinade for this chicken before we roast it in the barbecue. So what I've got here is some butter, which I've pre-chopped into square 1 centimeter cubes or so. I've chopped some rosemary, fresh rosemary, which 2 sprigs will do, chopped up roughly. I've also got 2 limes, which I've zested and quartered, and then also a bit of garlic and chili flakes. So that's what I'm going to be putting into the wet marinade. So I'm just going to chuck in the butter in here along with the garlic and the rosemary. Okay. So a bit of chili flakes in here. And just a little bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt. Okay. So you're just going to try and use a fork and just try to mix that up together. What you might want to do is get the butter out the fridge a little bit early so that it's a little bit softer, easier to manipulate and mix. If you're happy with that, then we're just going to prep the chicken. So what we're going to do is just going to make a couple incisions in the skin here. I'll probably use a smaller knife. And we're just going to cut here, here, and here, and here. So we're just going to try to make some flaps underneath the skin so you can put your butter combination underneath the skin. So if we cut in here, and it allows you to stuff in, a good level of that buttery goodness in there. Okay. So yeah, one of the reasons why we butterflied the chicken in the first place was it reduces the cooking time. So if you were cooking that as a whole chicken in the barbecue, it will take about 40 minutes longer than it would if you'd butterflied it. And that would dry out the chicken. So the point of cooking the chicken this way is we're trying to keep it moist. Okay, the only other difference here, once the coals have gone into the barbecue, is we'll keep the vents open fully, both bottom and top, because we're trying to get a higher temperature in there. That plus the extra coals in there will help to get the temperature going. We'll be aiming for around 200 degrees Celsius for cooking the chicken there, and the cooking time will be roughly about an hour 20 around there. Depending on the size of the chicken, it can go a little bit less or a little bit more. On average, they say 20 minutes per half a kg. So yeah, that gives you a rough idea in terms of cooking time. But what I'm going to do with this one today is I'm going to use a temperature probe as well to make sure that I know that the chicken's cooked all the way through. But also it means that you don't overcook as well, so that's important too. Okay, so I'll come back and we'll check on the coals in a little bit. Okay, so the coals are looking pretty good there, so I'm just going to pour them out again. I've got my glove on to try and protect my hands. And then I'm just pouring the coals out on one side of the barbecue. Okay, and again, we're just keeping it somewhere safe, somewhere on the rocks there. We'll just make sure it's not going to catch on fire to anything. So the vents are open. Again, I'm going to do my cleaning. So I'll pop the grill on the barbecue. And I'm just going to give it a good scrub down again. I'm doing a higher temperature this time, more coals. And the chicken, I'm going to keep it indirect cooking again. So the chicken's going to go on this side, opposite side from the coals. Because I'm just not wanting to burn the outside. I'm wanting to cook it through like an oven, so getting that temperature circulating round, and the smoke will infuse into the chicken, but I'm not burning the outside. I'm cooking it thoroughly through, but I'm trying not to burn the outside. Okay, so I'm just about to put the chicken on the barbecue. I'm just gonna get a bit of olive oil just to get the grill a little bit lubricated. And I'll put my chicken skin side up. And I've just got another corn on the cob I'll throw in there as well. And then I'm going to close the lid. I might actually turn it down a bit. It is quite hot, so it's currently sitting about 220. So I'll just turn it down a fraction. Just the vents just slightly closed, just to lower the temperature a little bit. I'm aiming for around 200 here. So I'm just keeping an eye on my barbecue, and temperature's sitting in around 225. So I'm gonna maybe lower it again, the vents, because it's still quite high. I'm aiming for around 200 degrees there. Just have a quick look and see how the chicken's looking. So yeah, it's looking good so far. I put it skin side up because we put the butter underneath the skin, and we want the butter to melt through the chicken meat, keeping it moist. I've also got an iGrill temperature probe here, which is what I'm going to put into the chicken somewhere. Find the biggest bit of meat really, and then we're going to put the probe in there as deep as you can, and then I'm just going to leave that to record the temperature, keep an eye on it. So the barbecue temperature, I'm aiming for around 200 or 200 plus. but the chicken itself, we're aiming for 74 degrees Celsius. So when the chicken gets up to that temperature, you know it's cooked all the way through. It's a good idea to check multiple spots, just different areas, just to make sure it is all 74 throughout the whole chicken. Okay, so just keep having a quick look on the chicken. Yep, starting to look pretty good. I'm just gonna give it a little baste, just so I keep it moist as much as possible. So I'm just gonna baste it here with this is olive oil, a bit of honey, a bit of mango chutney, and white wine vinegar. So I'm just gonna baste it there with a little bit of this, just to keep it nice and moist in there. So we're roughly around the halfway point, so I just checked the temperature on the gauge there. It's about 49 degrees. So we're, as I said before, we're aiming for around that 74 degrees Celsius. So it's certainly getting there. So yeah, we're about halfway. So I might baste this one more time, just before it gets to 70 degrees. And then, yeah, it should be good. Okay, just going to have a quick look on it again. Yeah, the chicken's looking pretty good. It's certainly getting there. I'm just going to baste it one last time. We're at 67 degrees for the internal temperature of the chicken. The external, or the barbecue temperature, is at 200. So we're right in that nice zone. I'm just going to baste it one last time, and then it'll probably be done in about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll take it out and let it rest for 4 or 5 minutes or so. So the chicken is at 75 degrees. As I mentioned before, it is a good idea just to double check in a couple different locations that it is indeed 75 degrees or 74 degrees in the chicken interior. And then once you're happy with it, we'll take it off the barbecue. And then it's good to go. And there we have it. Our beautifully cooked chicken, lovely and moist. It's not going to be dry in there, and yeah, it should be delicious.